Today we're going to be talking about how to become a market-leading consultant.
'Cause damn, I was built to last. You move slow and I move fast, and that's facts. Only I can make a change. Slowly take a step today. I will never be the same, 'cause that's what it takes.
Welcome to your Consulting Business Podcast. My name's Russell Pearson and this is episode number 21. Today we're going to be talking about becoming a market leader in your space, and ideally this podcast is all about consultancy, advisory, being an expert and thought leader in your space. So it's about becoming a market leader consultant, a market leading advisor for the area of expertise which you have. Now, what is a market leader? Well, I like to look at words. I like to look at the definitions of things. And if I look at the word leader, it's really your ability to lead a group, an organization, a community, a something, right? And if you're a market leader, it would be leading the market. So really, it means that number one, if you want to become a market leader in whatever space that you're in, you need to know what space you're in and who are you leading, right? So it's a bit simplistic that way, but what I like to do is I break these things down to actually look at the definitions, get clear about what that means, and then what does that then mean in practice? What does it mean to be a leader? What does it mean to have a market? Well, to have a market, it means that you're very clear about who they are. And the broader the market, the much more muddy, the much less clear, much less clear. That's great language, Russell. It is far less clear the more people who are involved in that market, because you don't know down to the specificity. Now, if you've had a small market, let's say 10 people, you probably know those people by name. Ideally, they know you. And you know a fair bit about each other. You know not only just what they look like, but who they are, what's going on in their heads. You've had conversations with these people. You go out to 50 people or 100 people. You start to maybe you know who they are. You know their faces. Oh, what's the name of that person again? It starts to broaden out. And I start so micro in this because some people tell me that their market is women over the age of 40. Now that's like a quarter of the planet. Right, so how do you know those people? Right, well you don't. So then, where are those people becomes very, very difficult because they're in so many different places. Can you be in all those places? And you probably can't. And so to get more efficient, cleaner, to have a much more streamlined process in whatever consulting you're doing, knowing who is that market that you want to engage with is a real fundamental. And it can really create a lot of ease for you, whereas I find a lot of marketers who are engaging in broad markets, and when I say marketers, people who are trying to get the market, so consultants who are marketing, they're confused as to where they need to go, because they're spinning their wheels, they're going 100 miles an hour in 10 different directions, they're not really sure where to focus, right? And that's because they're not clear about their who. So your market, you're a leader of who, or whom, if you're one of those people. You're leading a market. So knowing who your market is going to be incredibly important. Now, I've got a 120 list that I talk about. It's who are the 120 people that you want to be engaging with on a regular basis. Knowing the mix of how do you create a 120 list is something that we do inside the Forge Business Program. That's a business program that I run. For those who do not know, what we do is we help really smart people, probably just like you, actually get clear about the steps that they're taking, create consistent pipelines so that they're getting regular opportunity without needing to get referrals all the time. It's great to get referrals, but they never come through when you want them. And how to get much easier sales, really, to the point where you are auditioning people. And that's, I think, as an advisor, as a consultant, that's really where you want to be. So knowing who you want to work with is crucial. So if you're a consultant to electricians, all right, that is an industry. So that's a niche. Your market is these electricians. If you're a consultant to CIOs, all right, so you know that there's a role. It's not necessarily an industry. It's a sector, and it's a specific role within an organization. it's much easier to find these people based on those definitions. So if you don't have a definition like that, if you have a fluffier definition, it's going to be fluffier. Your vision is not going to be as sharp when you're trying to find out where these people are. So market, obviously there's a big topic there. I can talk about that a lot. I am from the marketing space, and so I can definitely talk about the marketing side a lot. But what I want to talk about today is, what does it mean to be a market leader? And so then we look at the definition of leader. Is to lead these groups and people. So you need to have one of those. And then I look at leader itself. And I often put things through an archetypal view. You know, what are the things that make this thing a thing? I say the word thing a lot, but what are the behaviors, what are the activities of the leader that makes the leader a leader versus just being a person who's doing stuff, right? So you look at it through those lenses and you go, all right, well, what does a leader do? And in fact, ideally, what does a good leader do? Because if you want to be a market leader, you want to be recognized for those things. So number one, they need to be seen. You know, people have to recognize you. People have to see you, which means usually you need to be out in front. You need to be communicating. You need to be sharing. And so I put that under one big umbrella of communicate with your market. Right, so to be a market leader, you need to be in consistent communication with your market. If you're a leader of a business, you need to be in consistent communication with your team. If you're a leader of an organization, same sort of thing. If you're a leader of a sports team, same sort of thing. You want to have good, consistent communication. So, are you having good, consistent communication with your market? If you're not, then number one, you're not a market leader, right? Number two is you're not going to become a market leader until you start doing those things. Right? So how can you start communicating, sharing? And it doesn't mean you're always having to be leading thought, right? You don't have to be the leader of thought in everything you do. Think about, there's all sorts of organizations where they'll have an innovation team, and the leader of the organization isn't necessarily creating all the innovation, but they are out front talking about the different initiatives, and they're making decisions, and they're doing those things, and they're communicating those. All right. So communicating with your market, I think, is a massive key. Obviously, you need to have a market to lead. That would be number two, is having that market to lead. Probably is number one, to be honest. So what I was talking about at the start, who is the market? Do you have a market to lead? All right. Yes, I'm clear on that. If you're not, then you can't be a market leader, right? And you certainly, the broader it is, you won't be recognized at it because people don't know you, right? So the leadership is not just like self-appointed. You know, you need to have a group or a following to be recognized as a leader. So you need your market. You need to be able to consistently communicate to that market. My suggestion is that there are plenty of leaders out there that are not necessarily inspiring, but they are motivating. And there are plenty of people out there that are inspiring that maybe aren't motivating. Like they're making people feel good, but they're not moving them to something. So I would put those two things together and say, to be a leader of your market, you need to be moving the market. So whether that be motivating, inspiring, whatever it might be, cajoling, poking, pushing, moving the market. You're getting people to do things. You're getting people to move. You're getting the market to move, right? You're pacing and leading the market. So how are you doing that? How are you doing that with your market? How are you moving the market along? Now, to give you an example of that, right? There are real leaders I see out there in industries who are advocating for the market. You know, they're speaking to government. They're actually talking to policymakers. They're in the front of their market, making sure that their market has great opportunities moving forward. You know, they're writing articles on their behalf. You know, they are doing things to look after, to take care of, you know, the market. So how are you moving the market, right? That would be number three. How are you then showing the way? How are you creating aspiration? How are you so there's multiple versions of what showing the way is. Number one is declaring that is the way. Are you doing that? Are you looking to the future with your market? Are you talking about that? Are you showing other people that there's a way? Then number two, are you stepping along that path? Are you leading the way? Are people seeing you leading by example? Are you saying one thing and doing another? Right? Because if you are, people aren't going to follow you. But if you are leading the way and you're showing them the way and you're communicating effectively and you're moving people, then you are leading the way. Yeah? So knowing where you're going, creating clarity for other people, means ideally you'd like to have clarity for yourself. So you're doing that thinking on a regular basis. How can you be doing that in your space? And the final one, number 5, is that you are continuously improving. You are getting better at what you're doing, 1% better every day, whatever it might be for you, but you are improving so that you continue to improve as the market improves, right? In fact, sometimes you will be better than the market, but your ability to lead the market will be the gap that happens. Will the market drop behind you? Right, you're not leading enough, you're just developing, right? Can you then pull the market with you? Now you're leading. Does the market then pass you? Okay, you're not developing enough. Right? So there's an elastic band situation there. How are you leading, developing, and leading again, so that you can continue to move things forward? Now that's a leader, right? So the leader, has the following. They have the market of the market leader. They have the market. They're communicating effectively. They're moving the market. They're showing the way. They're showing not necessarily the future, but this is the direction we're going, right? So this is your next steps. And they're improving at a rate that keeps them in front, that keeps them ahead of the rest of the pack. Otherwise, someone takes over and they become the leader. All right? So that's the leadership. Now, as a consultant, so a market-leading consultant, we're adding a third word in there, right? What does it mean? All right, so as a consultant, the consultant consults. All right, that's what they do. That's one of the big 5 things it does. It does it in a place where clients are. Right, so it leads from that space. The consultant is improving. They are looking at trends. They are looking at the future. So what I like about consulting, what I like about advice, is that you are hand in hand with leadership. Now, whether you take on the mantle of being the leader or whether you just want to be the advisor to the leader, you're still at that front step. So why not take the opportunity? Why not lead from the front? Why not show people a way forward? Be the guide. Actually show them the path. That will not only help you in your business, but it's going to help you in the development of yourself as a professional. It's going to continuously improve your ability to get results for clients. And I would suggest, simply off the back of the experience that I've had, you're going to get a far more fulfilled life in being in that space rather than sitting back and watching as other people take that position for you. I remember I was told years ago, never be the leader, be the number 2. And I thought at the time, why? And I found out later it's because that person didn't want to do the hard stuff. That person didn't want to be attacked for having ideas. That person didn't want to make mistakes. That person didn't want to be wrong, right? And so they would hide back in second place. And that's fine. If you want to hide back in second place, you look back and go, well, I could have. Yeah, you could have. There's all sorts of reasons. There's all sorts of excuses as to why you could have. But what are you going to do? And I think that's the position of leadership that is incredibly valuable as a consultant, because if you're going to lead your clients, if you're going to pace and lead your clients, you're going to show them a way forward, you might as well actually step into the mantle of leader and why not express it in the best possible way, which is to become that market leader in your space. Now, does it mean you're going to be the number 1? Maybe. Absolutely, you can be. It doesn't mean you have to be. There are many leaders. There are peers around you. There are people leading different sectors of an industry. There are thought leaders that have different specialities. So if you're a leader of this space that you've decided to own, and you've done it by, number 1, understanding what that space is, you're communicating to it on a regular basis. You're helping it to move through motivation, inspiration. You're actually showing the way. You're pointing the direction forward, and you're continuously improving. You're learning. You're looking at trends. You're looking at the future. You're saying, what do we need to become as an industry? What do we need to become as a market, a sector, a group, whatever it might be, as the future evolves? And I know that not only are you going to have the business and financial success that you want, but you're going to have a life well lived, right? So it's an opportunity, right? These are opportunities for you to decide if it's what you would like to do. But if it is what you would like to do, I think it's important to understand those three words. What is it to have a market? What is it to be a leader? And finally, what is it to be a consultant, advisor, a specialist, an expert in whatever it is that you are an expert in your space, and to know what are the elements of that. Yeah, I look through it through a lot of different lenses, but today I'm just talking about what are the activities, what are the things that you do as a market-leading consultant in your space. I'd love to know. What is your space? Let me know in the comments below. What is the thing that you're good at? Where does your expertise lie? What do people know you for? Where are you leading the way? Yeah, and then ask yourself, are you doing those things? Are you in that market leader position? And if you are, I celebrate you and I encourage you and I'm happy to support you in any way you would like. If you're not quite there, but you want to be there, simply ask yourself, why not? Right? If you need support, reach out. We're more than happy to help because that's what we do. We help absolute experts, super smart people become market leaders in their own space. And we're happy to help you do that too. My name's Russell Pearson. If you'd like more information about what we do at Your Consulting Business Podcast, you can go to consultingbusinesspodcast.com where you can get some resources there. They're absolutely free. You can find other episodes as well. Do subscribe to wherever you watch or listen to this podcast. We'd love for you to watch new episodes as they come out on a weekly basis. We do deliver them on a weekly basis. We're up to episode number 21. I can't believe we're up to 21 of this new podcast because it feels like we've literally just started it. So up to 21 is pretty good. And we appreciate your encouragement that you've been sending our way. So I love that. Keep doing that. And we look forward to speaking to you soon. Stay passionate, and I'll catch you on the next one. Bye for now. Thank you for joining us on Your Consulting Business Podcast. Make sure to click the subscribe button for future updates, and also make sure to go to consultingbusinesspodcast.com for goodies made especially for you by yours truly. I will see you on the site.